Greetings everyone, my name's Dom and today I'm going to be doing a full tutorial on how to build a beast gaming and editing PC. Yes, this is my new PC, and for those out there who aren't too interested in a half-hour video of me showing you some rookie stuff, then I will also have a shortened and sweetened down version of just the highlights and the finished product. Believe me, it is not something you want to miss. I would like to firstly say thank you to my friend Ben for letting me borrow your awesome camera. I am very sorry about the poor quality in video and audio, by the way. The exposure and ISO caused the footage to become a little grainy, which I couldn't notice on the camera's small LCD screen, but it became extremely apparent in post. Anyway guys, let's jump into the specs I'll be using in this build. For the CPU, I went for the i7-5820K 6-core Extreme Series CPU. Based on the LGA 2011 V3 socket and packing a lot of punch, it's a must for any editor out there looking for an upgrade. X99 is definitely the place to go. For the motherboard, I went for the Asus Sabertooth X99. This motherboard looks incredibly aesthetically pleasing while maintaining a great deal of performance, strong and attractive thermal armor, and overachieving when it comes to overclocking on this board. I have it running my CPU now at 4.5 GHz stable without changing any of the voltage. Extremely good indeed. For the RAM, I went for 16 GB of 2666 MHz DDR4 Kingston HyperX Fury series RAM. I needed 16 GB, well, Premiere needed 16 GB of RAM, and high-speed RAM at that. It looks really sleek with its low-profile heatsink and blackout design, and overall a very, very good, reasonably priced kit of RAM. For the graphics card, yeah, I tricked you Ben, I got a graphics card. I went for the Gigabyte GTX 980 Ti G1 Gaming Edition. This card rocks a high boost clock of 1279 MHz stock. The cooler is extremely good, boasting 3 silent fans, keeping this monster of a card cool and quiet. I haven't tried overclocking on this card yet, but I'm sure it's going to be good. For the CPU cooler, I went for the Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo. I will be upgrading this to the NZXT Kraken X61, but for now it does the job keeping this CPU at bay with decent temps, however they're nothing to brag about. I do recommend going for water cooler or at least high performance air cooler solutions for the X99 platform CPUs. They run hot. For storage, I have a standard 500GB Seagate Barracuda, but I've already purchased a 250GB SSD, which sadly didn't arrive in time for this video, and I'm also buying a 1TB version of the Samsung 850 EVO SSD. Probably sometime in the near future, definitely before the end of this month. And I will be doing a rig update for all that stuff, so stick around for that. Well, this beastie machine needs to be powered, so I'm using a rather suitable EVGA Supernova 750W G2 80 plus gold rated power supply. This PSU is kitted with the best in the business capacitors, unmatched build quality, and unbeatable stability. Another plus of this is its warranty, reaching up to a decade of support. This EVGA power supply is built to last and built to perform. So the system needs a home, and I couldn't think of any better than the NZXT H440. Its sleek look, smart features, and built-in noise dampening makes this a competitive case not to be trifled with. I can honestly say that this case is probably the best you can buy for first-time builders, as it has all the right boxes ticked. Noise dampening, a lot of free case fans, decent airflow, pre-installed motherboard standoffs, and breathtaking aesthetics. I really haven't cut any corners with this build. Everyone when they moved to X99 seemed to cheap out somewhere, whether it be RAM, GPU, but more commonly than not motherboard. I don't exactly believe in this. When I build a PC, I want to build it to the best of its potential, and that means getting the best hardware I can possibly afford. So let's cut to the chase and start this build video off, shall we? Once again, sorry for the crappy quality. I'll do what I can with the audio, but everything is still there and more or less easy to follow. Enjoy. So the first step to building your PC will be the power supply, especially for the H440, as it has a sort of hidden compartment for the power supply, so you won't be able to see it when you're looking through the window, which personally I think is a really good idea, but it does mean you have to take some precautions when you first build your PC, which is why we're going to be assembling the power supply first. Now, I say assembling, it does not sound as hard as it is. I mean, it's not as hard as it sounds, there we go. So let's just get into this. You do not, when you put your power supply, you want the fan to be facing up because it's going to suffocate your PSU, and then it's going to short out and it will ruin all your components. So this is why the PSU is one of the most important parts of your build. This is a VGA cable. It will actually say right there. I don't know that you can see that properly. VGA is for video. You can sort of suss that out by a VGA cable, or sort of like, oh, it's a video cable that plugs into your graphics card. So yeah, this is what you'll need if you have a graphics card. Now this is one that you can't really get wrong. This is your ATX, what is it, 24 pin ATX cable. This is so simple where this goes, it just plugs straight into the motherboard. This end goes into your PSU, and again the adapter end goes into your motherboard. This is to connect up your hard drives and such, and SSDs. It's a Molex. Yep, it's a Molex connector. All these cables are actually sleeved as well, so it looks really nice in your build. Oh, I got one wrong. The Molex is for actual older hard drives. The SATA power is for the newer hard drives and SSDs. I do apologise, I'm a bit rusty. Now we can work on actually plugging the stuff into the power supply. Now, this one, because it's the biggest one, this one here, you'll probably be able to see it if I did that. This one, this is your motherboard. So you get, they're all actually labelled, but it's incredibly easy to just sort of find and suss it out. There's sort of like a little, you can see this sort of latch thing, so the latch is facing down, and you just plug everything in basically. There we are. This is the CPU. Just there, we're going to be going into CPU 1. Now, the reason why it says CPU 2, that may sound strange to some of you newbies, but that is because some motherboards, like server grade motherboards, actually do support 2 CPUs, which is awesome. Everything's in now. We have successfully set up our power supply. Next thing is to do our motherboard, and then once we've done that, we are going to start mounting stuff into the PC. Exciting. Step 2 is to sort out your motherboard. Now, sorting out the motherboard is incredibly easy. You just have to sort of open it up first and reveal the damn thing. Now, this is an X99 motherboard. It's a little bit different on other motherboards in terms of CPU cooler mounting, but essentially the more expensive motherboards will just be easier. It's good to keep this anti-static bag so you can just lay the motherboard on top of it, and make sure no static electricity comes and harms your beautiful board that you just bought, especially this one, because this board is extremely expensive because it's X99, and X99 is enthusiast grade. I love money. So do other companies. But anyway, we're going to be doing the CPU first. So let me get the CPU real quick. Because it's X99, I have DDR4 RAM, 16 Gigabit as well, which is actually very exciting because I like RAM and so does Adobe Premiere Pro. Let's do the CPU first. These 2 retention arms here and here, you just sort of push it away, and it should, in theory, come up, one then the other. And there we go. And this reveals this rather large X99 CPU socket. This is the 2011 V3 socket, by the way. So there's a lot of pins, and do not touch this. Don't touch this. If you do, then you risk bending a pin and screwing up the whole thing. How do you work? I don't really want to rip it because... Oh, there's an opening. Fancy that. So yeah, this is a CPU. You see that? we take it out. You have to be very careful to not touch the top of the CPU. Only the sides. I wouldn't really recommend touching the bottom, especially if you have an AMD chip, because AMD chips have pins on the bottom and holes on the motherboard. You just align the arrow here and here, so they're pointing in the same direction, and then you line it up, and you slowly just drop it into place, and you can grip it by the sides and wiggle it a little bit, but do not touch the actual top of the CPU, otherwise you will need to clean it. Don't put thermal paste on it yet, just drop this. I think we have to do this one first, maybe. Oh god, this is confusing. Ah, here we are. Okay, so just push it all the way down. And then do that. And then do that. There we go. And this should just come off. There we go. Like spaghetti. Sort of. To install RAM, RAM's pretty much the most easiest thing. So you just align the, oh god, the short with the long on the motherboard. Put it in evenly. Now you can't see this all that well. And press down. And then it should just click, and then just do the same with the other sticks of RAM. Do it on every other DIMM though. Alright, and we have done the RAM. In fact, we've done the whole motherboard, which is awesome. Because now we can start installing stuff into the case. Alright, so this step is to do with mounting the power supply. Now, there's like a little bracket on the NZXT H440. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. But in this, you just mount it to the bracket, and then you're done really. Screws. All of your screws will come with your case. There will be a box inside, in the hard drive bays, and in there will be all of your screws. Now I have all my screws already here that I need, because I've already arranged them and everything. There's a screw hole here. There's a screw hole. Well, yeah, there's a screw hole here. There's a screw hole here. And then there's a screw hole here. Just that. And that just corresponds with the bracket that you are supposed to mount the right way around. Like so. Alright, the power supply is now mounted. As you can see, that took a little bit longer than I had anticipated. And all you have to do is just basically shove everything inside there. We will need to take off the side panel though. And voila, you just slide it in. And then you just do up the thumb screws on the little tray, and your power supply is mounted. Okay, installing the I/O shield is relatively simple. I will need to charge my camera in a minute, so let's get this done pretty quickly. What you want to do is you want to make sure that it is in the position that your motherboard should be, and in our case it's going to be that way. So you sort of just line it up and then push, and it should click right into place. Pre-installed, in this case, are standoffs, which you would need to install anyway if you didn't have the NZXT H440, which is why this is such an amazing first time builder's case, and I definitely recommend anyone who is doing their first build and just looking at tutorials to definitely get this case. Not only does it look amazing, but it's just great for first timers. But anyway, so this is the motherboard, and the standoffs are here, 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 and then 3 more at the bottom here, here, and here. Incredibly simple, just align and push against the I/O shield, and pop it down. There we go. Now it's down. And all you have to do is just screw in all of these holes. So you just do exactly the same with all the other screws and I'll be right back. Right, so we are nearly actually complete with our build now. We just have to mount the CPU cooler. This will be a lot easier if you have the stock cooler. You literally just like pop it on, but mine's X99, so I need an actual cooler. Now, there's like these little standoff things for the Hyper 212 Evo, which I definitely recommend, by the way, because it's a really good CPU cooler, especially with the price. And if you installed the backplate to the CPU, then there will be these 4 holes in it, in which you then just screw these into the back, or into the front. So, then we have these like standoff things installed, and now all you need to do is get these 2 things. This and this. Oh, and some thermal paste. This is the thermal paste that comes with the Hyper 212 Evo. Pop off the cap. And I'm going to do about a pea in the middle. A grain of rice. Maybe for X99 a little bit bigger than a grain of rice because the CPU is a bit bigger. This way is the way we want airflow to be going, this way, because this is the exhaust fan here, this is the back of the case, and the fans at the front here, they're pushing air this way. So we have this whole big movement of air just going through the case, and it cools it and it helps it dissipate more, because if you have air going into it and then air going out, and it just interferes. So, actually it'd probably be best to take off the fan, like so, just while you install it. And then, you want to get this. That's about right. And then we want to get our screwdriver, just behind me. And you want to screw in an X pattern, so you want to go this way, and this way, and this way, and this way, so it's just opposite. So then it spreads it around nice and even. Right, just leave the the cooler to dry for a couple minutes, and then we can actually mount our fan now. There's like a load of fan headers. So I am going to go for a push configuration personally. Just slot the fan on and you're done. Well, you're not done, you have to plug the fan in obviously, but that's what a fan header looks like. But just plug it in. There we are. And this can sort of just flutter around. You can try and cable management if you want. I know the exposure's a bit off, but now what we have to do is just plug everything in, and it is a lot simpler than you may think. This is probably what a lot of people have been stressing about, and they are wondering how to build a PC. But seriously, trust me on this one, it is dead easy, and I'm about to show you just exactly how easy it is. Right, so the only thing left to do now is just route all the cables and do a bit of cable management, and then install the GPU and the hard drive, and then we can boot. And that's fantastic because we're nearly done. Alright, so we're going to connect the 24-pin ATX cable first. And I did a bit of prep beforehand. So I can just go like this. Another perk of having the H440 is cable management is absolutely fantastic. Next we're going to do CPU, yep. And CPU connector is up here. This is where the power is. Well, that is what we want to be connecting to. So you know which way it goes round because there's like a clip. Same with everything, so it's not at all too daunting. It's these pins right there, the black ones next to the page. Well, you get this, which is all of the front panel lights, buttons and stuff. Not the audio or the USB, that we do in a minute. This is just the lights and the buttons and the reset switch. If you're confused as to how it goes, just check your motherboard manual and it will tell you how to do all of it. So don't fret. This one is USB 2. And oh god. Yeah, I've been caught. And this one is, as it says, HD audio. I apologise, it stopped before I could get it in, or actually I don't know where it did stop. But anyway, we have the HD audio to do. If I can zoom in on this. There we go. And this goes somewhere. HD audio goes here. That's it, it's done. Now I'm just going to make a few finishing touches of stuff that you don't really need to worry about, like case LEDs, which are just Molex. In fact, I'll show you. Yeah, they're very simple. That's what they are. You just put one male Molex into this female Molex, and then you have power, and every time you switch on your PC, it will just flash on the lights and it will be beautiful. So that about wraps it up for the case stuff. In a second I'm just gonna, move on to the hard drive and then we'll do the GPU. Now once you have mounted it, all you have to do is just slide it back in. And you get one end of your SATA connector, stick it in there. And then the other end goes into your motherboard, which I will flip around the PC and show you now. Now ours needs to go not on the floor. That is not an ideal place for it to go. Ours needs to go up here, because that's where SATA 1 and SATA 2 are. Sorry, my camera ran out of battery. Well, Ben's camera ran out of battery. This, again, just plugs into the hard drive and plugs into the SATA port, so it's incredibly self-explanatory and easy. So don't worry about that. We just need to hook up power now, which won't take a second. Alright, so the hard drive is here. and that's about it. All we have to do now is just hook up the graphics card. Alright, so we have come to the final piece of the tutorial. It's 2 in the morning, I just kind of want to get this done, but it's installing the graphics card, and here I have the GTX 980 Ti, a beast of a GPU, and this is probably one of the best ones besides, obviously, the Amp Extreme, which is just, I mean, I had a choice whether to buy that or this, and quite frankly, I really wanted my PC to look nice, and that big, thick, massive GPU just wouldn't really suit it. I have already taken out 2 of the PCIe brackets, so it's basically just, you just unscrew it and then it pops out. I've also removed a hard drive bay, because as you can see, this card is pretty big. On top of that, I have also added some LED lights, and I have hooked up the fan controller, but that would already be working in your case. It's just that I've unplugged everything to make this video. But anyway, yeah, so this installation is extremely easy, probably one of the easiest parts apart from the motherboard. You just sort of pop it in, really. And bang. That's now installed, sort of. You just need... Where'd those screws go? There they are. Just want to make sure it's in nice and tight. You will see up here there is a dual 8-pin socket. That concludes our PC build. We are actually done. I'm not joking. We're done. Me and you, we're done. There we are. Now we're done. Okay guys, this is it. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. There's the on button. There's the on button. Okay, we have some form of LED. That's on the motherboard. Nice. Here goes. Whoa. Oh. Oh. LED's green. Oh. This. Come on. Yes. 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 Oh, brilliant! It's working. Wow. Oh, that green LED looks so awesome. It looks kind of white in the camera, and you can see how dirty my case is. But oh. Fantastic. Well, if you guys enjoyed this rather long video, then I do hope you show your appreciation by tapping that like button. My name's Dom, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye everyone.